Hi everybody, this video is a review for Batman Nightwalker. So this is the second book in the DC Icons series. It was written by Marie Lu. I thought this was a very good book. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was really good. It was really good. So it's sort of a Batman origin story. We have a 18-year-old Bruce Wayne. He becomes 18, so now he's the world's youngest billionaire. And he gets involved with crime fighting, and specifically a group called the Nightwalkers. So Nightwalkers are these villains that think billionaires shouldn't exist. So they kill billionaires, they steal all the money from the billionaires. And they even go after Bruce Wayne, because they think the Waynes are corrupt, because they made a deal with the government. And that's absolutely ridiculous, because Thomas and Martha Wayne were fantastic people who always gave to charity. They had no dirty money whatsoever. So, I mean, it makes sense that the Nightwalkers are going after, like, evil billionaires that are profiting off of the prison system and other people's misery. I can understand why they're going after those villains, but going after Bruce Wayne, who's only been a billionaire for less than a week? No, that's too much. Come on, what has Bruce done? In fact, in that week, Bruce has done a lot to prove he's a great guy. So what happens is at Bruce's party, he leaves his party and he sees the police are trying to capture this villain in a car chase, but the villain's obviously going to get away. The police have super old cars, but Bruce has a super fancy car. So he breaks past the police line and chases the villain in this cool car chase throughout like half the city. And he gets the bad guy. He gets the bad guy, but the police don't like Bruce interfering. So he's arrested and sentenced to do community service at Arkham Asylum. I get the sense that they let him off easy because, he was trying to help the police. Now, a lot of people thought it was kind of silly for him to be working at Arkham Asylum. I didn't really think so. I thought that was great. I thought it was a good premise. So now we have 18-year-old Bruce Wayne working at Arkham Asylum, doing manual labor for the first time in his life. I thought it was really interesting. And so one of the Nightwalkers is Madeleine. She's actually like the second in command. And she refuses to say anything to police. She's about 18 years old. She's gorgeous. Bruce falls in love with her. Yeah, there's really this strong attraction between Bruce and Madeleine. And she's very mysterious because she rarely says anything. She actually talks to Bruce. That's the first time she said a word in like 3 months. And I thought it was very interesting when Bruce kept showing up because he kept wanting to see her, because he kept wanting to talk to her and learn more about her, because he was just fascinated by her. And part of that is because he's got a pretty open crush on her, and she definitely reciprocates. I thought that was really interesting. I liked all the conversations between Bruce and Madeleine. Just when reading it, I'd be thinking about it. It's like, oh, what if Bruce said this to Madeleine? Or what if Bruce said that to Madeleine? And they sort of, argue over morality and stuff like that, which is very Batman, by the way. It's like, who's in the right, who's in the wrong? Now, as I said, I think the Nightwalkers are in the wrong for trying to attack Bruce Wayne, because he's a great guy. But obviously Madeleine disagrees, because she's one of the Nightwalkers. So she actually... she warns Bruce, but she also uses Bruce. So she kind of warns Bruce when the attack system is moved up and they're actually attacking Bruce's house. And thanks to the warning, he's able to get in safely and actually save Alfred from the Nightwalkers. She talks about like her mysterious backstory, like her mother was sentenced to jail because her mother, her brother was sick with this deadly disease, and the doctor basically lied to them and gave them fake out pills and took all their money while letting the brother die. And so the mom killed the doctor in revenge. And, Madeline's like, hey, was that justice? And I'm like, well, the doctor clearly was a crook, just like the people who killed Bruce Wayne's parents. So, I'd say they're both crooks. That's what I would say. They're both criminals that are taking advantage of innocent people. So, anyway, my personal thoughts on the matter. So that's sort of what I felt like when reading these conversations. I'm like, ooh, what would I say in this situation? So it really got me thinking. I really like their dialogues with each other. So she warns Bruce. Bruce is able to survive the Nightwalker attack on him. Unfortunately, she also uses Bruce to escape. She tricks him into resetting like the camera signals, and she writes like this fake thank you letter to him, so the police will arrest him. So now he's in jail. At the same night, the Nightwalkers do their super huge attack. Like, they take all the rich people of the city hostage at this big event, and it turns out, I don't want to give spoilers. Anyway, certain person is an evil villain, and then we have another surprise evil villain, and so it's a bad situation. So Batman, Bruce, he's not Batman yet, Bruce breaks out of prison with the help of Harvey Dent and his butler Alfred, and then he goes to Wayne Tech and gets a bunch of like gear. So he basically gets like a proto-Batman suit and a bunch of smoke bombs, and he breaks into City Hall and he manages to fight off the Nightwalkers very cleverly using like robot drones. He has a really cool trick to get past the robot guards. And, he fights the Nightwalkers. He and Madeleine kiss each other several times, I believe. We have the surprise villain. And, fortunately, the surprise villain kills, like, all three of the guards as soon as Bruce Wayne is revealed. So now nobody knows Bruce Wayne's secret identity. And, as you'd expect, the surprise villain, I forget if the surprise villain dies or is captured by the police at the end. Madeleine dies. But then we have an epilogue where it said, oh, Madeleine was tricking Bruce again. She was just using him in order to escape. Oh yeah, and Bruce pulls off a sort of clever trick in order to basically destroy their entire system, just using some really cool security software that Lucius Fox built up for him. I think that was my only complaint, was the Lucius Fox scenes. I thought those were sort of rushed. It felt like Lucius is basically there to give Bruce Wayne cool technology. And yeah, that's basically what he does in the Dark Knight trilogy, those movies. He basically has no role besides just giving Bruce Wayne cool stuff. But, yeah, here in the book, I'm like, well, is there a purpose for this Lucius guy, or is it just he gives Bruce cool stuff all the time? So that would be, like, my only kind of complaint. Although, he did kind of have a bigger role. He was one of the people who was being held hostage at the end, along with Bruce's new friend Diane. I thought she was really cool. I'm kind of sad she's not in anything else, but that seems to be the case with Batman. I mean, I just mentioned the Batman Dark Knight trilogy. Like, he has this girl who's been friends with him since childhood. So that's the same premise as the Diane person here. So good friend slash maybe a love interest, although really Bruce's love interest was this Madeleine. And they left it open so that Madeleine can reappear if there's a sequel. I don't know if there's going to be a sequel. I would read it if there was a sequel, yeah. Complaints people had that he doesn't say, I'm Batman. He doesn't fully decide to become Batman. This is more like young Bruce Wayne. He's still 18. He has a really cool adventure fighting bad guys. It's sort of planting the seeds of him becoming the Batman, although he hasn't fully taken that step. There's not really any bat imagery, so he hasn't really decided to become a Batman superhero. It's just he fought bad guys this one time in a very cool Batman-style way, and presumably he's going to go to college first and do other stuff before fully realizing his future as Batman. So, good book. Only other thing I can think to say, there is swearing. There's one swear, and then there's one interrupted swear. So less swearing than the Wonder Woman book, for sure. I thought it was a good book. I liked it. Those are my thoughts on the book. Thanks for watching.